Aloha and welcome to the video. So in this video, I'm going to be making 3 different styles of Hawaiian knuckle duster, or in Hawaii, it'd be called a Ku'eku'e Lima Lei-o-mano. Now the Hawaiian knuckle duster is quite a bit different than a standard knuckle duster that you might be thinking of. The template that I'm using here is not really a template. This is obviously a broken one. This was a gift to my mom a long time ago, and it got dropped and broken, and I still need to fix it. But I like the dimensions, I like the size, and so I'm using that as kind of my primary template. And then I'm going to be making 3 different styles. One of them is just a basic, the other one has a pahoa dagger built into it, and then the third one also has a dagger, but it's going to be a marlin built dagger. So 3 different styles, but very similar to one another. The main difference between the Hawaiian knuckle duster and a traditional knuckle duster is a traditional one would be used for blunt force, so you're punching, that type of thing. The Hawaiian one is more like a knife that wraps around your hand. Now obviously you could still use it for blunt force, but its primary use would be slashing soft targets, so towards the stomach or the neck, the arms, the wrists. And then if you had a dagger attached to it, then that might be used as a finishing move or some type of thrusting weapon. But the overall design for it is less used for punching and more used for slicing. So it's just an extension of your hand that has shark teeth along the outer edges. And I'm going to be using tiger shark teeth for all 3 of these. Now the first step is going to be hollowing out the center. There's a lot of different ways that you could do it. One of my favorite ways is what you're seeing here, where I first hog out a ton of that material, and then once I have it kind of hogged out using the Forstner bits, then I come back, chisel out some of that remaining, and then I'll be using rasp and files and sanding to finish shaping out the piece and attaching the marlin bill. Now I have all the rough shaping on all three of these pieces finished, I can begin sanding. One thing that I do when I sand, which I don't really mention too often, just because I forget, is I actually do quite a bit of my shaping with the sanding. So the sanding portion of every single one of my pieces is where I take the shape from, I would say, 80% complete to 100%. So the initial shaping with the angle grinder or chisels or whatever I'm using, I usually take that to, it depends on the piece and what style I'm making, but something like this, it's only going to be like 80% or 70% complete. And then I use the sanding to really go in and fine shape. And it's hard to explain, but I've used the angle sander or this disc sander for so long that I've gotten pretty good at being able to maintain where the lines are coming together. And so I can usually keep pretty clean, crisp lines. For anything that's too fine of a spot, I'll use my chisels. But for the most part, I actually just use the disc sander to put in all of the remaining fine sanding. And then anything the disc sander can't reach, obviously I have to hand sand. My favorite way to hand sand is I wrap, and I'm using the discs. I really should get, waste my disc sanding paper like that, but I wrap the sanding paper around the files, and I use that to make it easier for me to apply pressure and sand in specific areas to fine tune and clean it all up. Here are the finished pieces. Man, these turned out awesome. I love them. The koa wood on each one is a little bit different, and so each one has their own character. They are obviously slightly different in design as well, and so their use and function would be a little bit different from piece to piece. I especially love the one with the marlin bill just because of the two-tone koa wood, that light grain koa, the edge wood mixed with the darker heartwood, and it has some spalting on that edge wood, so it's beautiful, beautiful piece. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Most of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. If you could subscribe, that would be awesome. I'd greatly appreciate it, unless you don't want to, in which case, thank you for watching anyway. These 3 pieces, along with some of my other work, can be found at Koa Wood Ranch. They're a gallery in Hawaii. They've got a few stores, one on the Big Island, on Oahu. So if you're on island, check them out, and you might be able to pick up one of these. Mahalo nui for everyone that follows along, and I'll see you on the next video. Aloha.